ललिता श्री विशाखां वितांश। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। सप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
So we'll speak the two essential verses. Narayan namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiriyeta nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate yutam shloke bhakti bhavati nashtaki. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So verse number 37 is as follows. Brahmananam Chatrabhujo Mahatma Vid Urur Angrishita Krishna Varna Nana Abhidhada Bhitya Ganopapano Dravya Atmaka Karma Vitana Yoga. Translation. The Virat Purusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are the Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Sudras are the protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. Are you going, Prabhu? You can read the purport if you like.
Yes, Prabhuji. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Monotheism is practically suggested here. Offering sacrifices to many demigods under different names is mentioned in the Vedic literatures. But the suggestion made in this verse is that all those varieties of demigods are included in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are only the parts and parcels of the original whole. Similarly, the divisions of the orders of human society, namely the Brahmanas, the intelligent class, the Kshatriyas, the administrators, the Vaishyas, the mercantile community, and the Shudras, the laborer class, are all included in the body of the Supreme. As such, sacrifice by every one of them in terms of pleasing the Supreme by feasible goods is recommended. Generally, the sacrifice is offered with clarified butter and grains. But with the progress of time, human society has produced varieties of goods by transforming materials supplied by God's material nature. Human society, therefore, must learn to offer sacrifices not only with clarified butter, but also with other manufactured goods in the propagation of Lord's glory. And that will bring about perfection in human society. The intelligent class of men or Brahmanas may give direction for such sacrifices in consultation with the previous acharyas. The administrators may give all facilities to perform such sacrifices. The Vaishya class or mercantile community who produce such goods may offer them for sacrifice, and the Shudra class may offer their manual labor for the successful termination of such sacrifice. Thus, by the cooperation of all classes of human beings, the sacrifice recommended in this age, namely the sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, may be executed for the common welfare of all people of the world. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you. The words I'll repeat. The Virat Purusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are the Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Sudras are under the protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. So Sri Prabhupada makes a very important point right in the first line. He says, monotheism is practically suggested here. Now you'll find that many people think that our Vedic religion is polytheism, but here it's made very clear, no, monotheism. Monotheism means worship of one supreme personality of Godhead, and under whom there are so many other gods. In English, we call them celestial beings. And they are all serving Krishna. So this is our philosophy. The ISKCON or the Vaishnavism believes in one supreme personality of Godhead, and that is Vishnu. Even throughout Bhagavad Gita, you'll find the same point is explained in a very, we can say, step by step. Gradually come to the understanding to the last apex verse, which says, Sarva Dharma Paritajya Mam Ekam. Ekam means one. And who is that Ekam? Is Vishnu or Krishna. So this verse is actually teaching us that people may offer sacrifices, but with the understanding that it is meant to please Lord Vishnu. We'll find in the way many verses explaining this verse that worship of Vishnu is explained, advised again and again. So any sacrifice, if there is no Vishnu worship, then it has no meaning. It is useless. Sometimes people say, oh, we want to worship Rudra, Shiva. Some people say, no, we want to worship Devi or some other gods. But no worship is there without worshipping Vishnu first. You'll find that sometimes Brahmins who are intelligent, they're very clever. Sometimes they're invited that they want to do some yajna. Like in the Hindu community, you'll find, let's say, for example, they want Chandi yajna. So they'll say, we want to do Chandi yajna. So the whole yajna is meant to worship the Devi. But the Brahmin, he knows very well, because he's learned, that you can't worship Chandi without actually worshipping Vishnu first. But Chandi is also an energy of Lord Vishnu, material energy. So what does he do? Before even the guest arrives, he performs, he prepares the yajna, he offers the ahuti first to Lord Vishnu. And even when everything is over, again he does it for Lord Vishnu, including a marriage sacrifice. Even in a marriage, Vivaha Yajna, there is a yajna in which first Vishnu is worshipped. So there is every sacrifice, because there are so many demigods, 330 million demigods, and they are all part and parcels of Krishna. They're working like limbs of Krishna. So when you worship Krishna, everyone else gets satisfied, all the demigods. So the verse also explains that even the four varnas come from Lord Vishnu. Even Krishna explains in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I think it's verse number 11, 13. Chatur varnam vayasrishtam guna karma vibhagasya. Chatur means 4. These 4 varnas I have created, and not by birth. Remember that. It's not that if someone is from a particular family, let's say from a Brahmin family, that doesn't mean everybody there is Brahmanas, unless he has the calling. That's why it says guna and karma. It doesn't say guna, karma, janma. He could have used the word janma. So, of course, in the original Varnashram system, all the Brahmins would train their children as Brahmins. And those who are not ready to accept, then they may change. There are 2 very nice examples. One is Parshuram. Parshuram was trained. Original name Parshuram is Ram. So Ram was trained to become a Brahmin. And he knew everything about Brahmin culture. But due to the violence created by Sahasra Arjuna, the very powerful king, when he came to take the cow, and then Rama, later he became Parshuram, he killed him. And his father was very angry. The Brahmins are not supposed to do killing. You are supposed to tolerate it. You should let go. Then after some time, the children or the sons of Sahasra Arjuna, they came to kill Jamagadi and did so many things. Now Parshuram means from Ram he became Parshuram. He took a huge axe and then started killing Kshatriyas. And he was killing them like using a machine. That he rid the earth of 21 times of the Kshatriyas. And also he revived his own father, Jamagdini, after the sacrifice. So we find Parshuram from a Brahmin becoming a work doing the guna and karma of a Kshatriya. Then we have Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is a king. Similar story. He went to visit Vashishta, and from Vashishta he found out that actually Brahmins are very opulent. Opulent means more powerful than Kshatriyas. Because he noticed that he had this Kamadhenu guy, very powerful cow, and who actually defeated him. And when he got defeated, due to this cow, when he wanted to take her forcefully, he realized that the Brahmins are more powerful. So he asked some Brahmins, how can I become a Brahmin? He said, you have to do tapa. And he did tapa for 60,000 years to become a Brahmin. Now that was Satyuga. So we all have an inbuilt quality. We can say psycho and physical. We can have a nature of a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or even a Sudra. It doesn't matter. Or provided that the worship of Vishnu is going on, we are rightly situated. And also Bhagavad Gita advises us not to take work which is not as per your nature. Because you will not be happy. You may become expert in someone else's nature's work, but everyone is destined or made in such a way that that duty is suitable for that particular person. Like someone who is a Brahmin's nature, he will have to do activities which are related to Brahminical culture or a Brahminical way of life. And you know, Brahminical way of life is Samudamo, Titiksha, Arjavam, Jnana, Vigyam, Saityan, and so on. So all these qualities, when are seen in a person, that is the guna, then that person should be accepted as a Brahmana, which Bhagavatam explains several times. So if someone is acting as a Brahmana and has qualities as a Brahmana, he should be accepted as a Brahmana. So is someone accepted as a Kshatriya, if he has the qualities of a Kshatriya. And so is a Vaishya, also is a Sudra. Now that doesn't mean that anyone is high or low. Here it's said very clear in the verse. The Brahmana should be considered the head. It's written here in the Virat Rupa. The arms are the Kshatriyas, the thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Sudras are the feet, or under his feet. So in this way, these are the four Varnas. So all four Varnas actually come to one. They worship Vishnu. It's not that someone is a Brahmin, he worships Narayan, and Kshatriya is supposed to worship some Devi. Many people think like that. No. And the Kshatriyas are meant to worship Vishnu. And so are the Vaishyas, so are the Sudras. Yes, for extra material requirements, they may worship a different demigod, but without forgetting the supremacy of Lord Krishna or Vishnu. Varnashram Charavat Purushe Bhama. In that verse, it makes it very clear that Aradhyate Vishnu. The word Aradhyate means worship. Only Vishnu is to be worshipped, whether we are a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or a Sudra. And Prabhupada explains that the Lord is worshipped with clarified butter and grains. Now, this literally refers to Yajna, Agni Hotra Yajna. And he says that sometimes, or as times go on, you can offer the Lord with manufactured items. Means whatever you have, it should be used in the service of Krishna. You find that formerly people would put flesh, now they put sesame seeds, which are also strong in protein and calcium. So these are manufactured. This is one example. In this way, in many, we find they also put dry fruits like almonds or cashew nuts, groundnuts during the Punahati or during the end, towards the end, or sometimes even fruit. So whatever we produce in a natural way, it's not that you start putting plastic. No. It says whatever is produced naturally can be used in the service of Krishna, because everything is originally provided by the Lord Himself. The whole society is designed in such a way that let everyone be happy by worshipping Lord Vishnu. Sarva Sukhinu Bhavantu. Let everyone become happy. Now, it doesn't mean just humans, it also means animals and all other species. So we have to live in such a way that everyone is kind towards everyone, is mindful of others, and is able to please Lord Krishna. Then when the Lord is pleased, everyone else is pleased. Today we find, at least in this year, so many things are going on, which are very horrible when you hear them. Like the war between the Russia and Ukraine, then what do you call it, Israel and Hamas, then atrocities done to women like in Afghanistan, and many other countries. These problems are there. Why? Because now the Varnashram system is not there. And the peace cannot come if you do not follow the peace formula given by Krishna. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. He is the supreme proprietor and he is the supreme well-wisher. That these three aspects are those of the peace formula. So if you want peace, then you have to follow what same truth is given also in the Bhagavatam. Both goes, hand in hand. One is on a normal level, one is on a higher level. So if a life is there, human life means a life of sacrifice. And anyone who doesn't sacrifice will live a miserable life, because it's the life of a thief. A thief, for example, he has stolen so many things, and police are looking for him. He may be enjoying, but one day he'll be caught, and he will have to suffer. That's why Bhagavad Gita, it says that the Lord and the demigods, they provide you with so many things. Especially the demigods, on behalf of the Lord, they provide you with so many things. And in return, if you do not give them, then what happens? We are thieves. And we'll have to pay penalty for that. And that is what is going on today. Heavy penalty. Imagine, shocking. There are so many floods, so many earthquakes, so many natural disasters going on in the world today. And this is the way we find that people, they don't recognize the supremacy of the Supreme, the Supreme Lord, Vishnu or Krishna. That's why so much suffering is there. Of course, in the material world, it means suffering, but it can be reduced to the minimum by following the rules and regulations of the sacrifice. Now, if you go to Bhagavad Gita, in just one verse, Krishna is explaining very nicely. If you go to, I think it's verse number 16 in the chapter 3, he uses the word chakra. There are so many verses, but this verse actually makes everything clear. Even note 16 is 14 and 15. First, starting with 14, he says, all living bodies subsist on food grains, which are produced from rains. Rains are produced from the performance of yajna or sacrifice. And yajna is born of prescribed duties. In the 15, he says, regulatory activities are prescribed in the Vedas. And the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. And in the 16, which is the concluding verse. He says, my dear Arjun, one who does not follow in the human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in vain. You'll find that if a person doesn't satisfy Krishna, he has to satisfy his own senses. And the more you try to satisfy your own senses, you become more miserable. And it is true. And this is the modern culture. The whole modern culture is designed in such a way that in every aspect, they try to give you pleasure by so many gadgets, so many ways, so many lifestyles are there, but all based on sensual pleasures. That's why people are not happy. Don't expect people to be happy. Without sacrifice, one cannot be happy. And with sense enjoyment or sensual pleasures, no one can be happy. Because as you increase your sensual pleasures, the demand will also go up. And how much can you fulfill the pleasure of each of the senses? Not possible. So, in today's culture, I would say it's a culture where people don't want to recognize Krishna or Vishnu. They want to act independently. So here, Srila Prabhupada says that we should have the society. If we want peace in the society, then there has to be what Bhagavatam says. That again the Varnashram system should be brought up. It was there and it followed very well. But as the Kali Yuga entered, then everything became spoiled. Now the only hope is to take up the Sankirtan movement as initiated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, Naham Vipra, Naham Narapati, Naham Vaishya. In that verse he says, I am not a Brahmin, I am not a Kshatriya, I am not a Vaishya, I am not a Sudra. I am none of this, nor I am a Brahmachari or Grihastha, Vaishya, or Sudra. I am the servitor of the gopis, whose Lord is Krishna. So this verse is the way Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants us to follow. That's why he made it very common that you take part in the Sankirtan Yagya, which will please the Lord. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, Sagopanga Ashtapasadam, Yagye Sankirtan Barai, Yajanti Hi Sumedasha. Sumeda means one who has a good intelligence. We will worship the Lord along with his associates who are performing Sankirtan Yagya. So that's why we find in our ISKCON that in every, we can say every festival or every occasion or any ritual we do, there is a sacrifice. I mean, there is the Sankirtan movement. And the Sankirtan movement is not just easy, but it is practical. Anyone can do. Just like these days we have this Damodar offering. And so many people come to offer lamb to the Lord. And we notice so many new people. And everyone chants Hare Krishna, the Kirtan. And they find it very, very pleasing. Because chanting is natural. I'll give you one personal example of 2 weeks back. That once we have one doctor visiting our temple every Thursday. He makes a point, a very elderly person, 80-something, 83, 84. But he can hardly walk, but he does come to temple with his doctor. He is a nurse, and the nurse is a local African person, but he has studied in America. It's a very learned nurse. So once he was sitting in the office, and we were just talking. So I gave him a card where it is a very simple message that chanting has a very simple philosophy. Is one need to have faith that the name of the Lord is none different from the Lord himself. And all over the world we find people chant the names of God. And the most sweet name of the Lord is Krishna or Rama or Hari. And if you chant these names in the Mahamantra, then your life will become sublime. So he took this card and he studied, and he started chanting, even without beats. He made it into a habit of chanting Hare Krishna. So when he came after 2 weeks, he says, now I enjoy this chanting so much that I can't give it up. So this is the way this is my personal realization. That this person whom we don't know even, and even he has no idea who is Krishna, but he started chanting and see the result. So without sacrifice, one cannot be happy. So here it says, thus by the cooperation of all classes of human beings, sacrifice recommended in this age is namely the sacrifice of chanting or the congregation chanting the holy name. So the verse aims at explaining, all these verses are speaking about the Virat Rupa or the universal form. In the verse of today, he is explaining us two main things. What are the different types of classes in the human society? What are demigods? Here it makes it very clear. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him. Means he's above the demigod. That is the meaning. And it becomes a duty of everyone to serve Krishna. And the same verse is here in the 3rd chapter. Again, I think it's verse number 10. Yagya Shishta. Yeah. Saha Yaga Praja Shishta. Purovacha Prajapati. Anena Pravishyatyam Eshovasti Istakamaduk. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth the generations of man and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this yagya or sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. So it's not just man, even the demigods are given the same advice. Both are banned to worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So the purport is explaining two things, the Varnashram system and the method of sacrifice. It's all there included in the Virat Rupa, the universal form of the Lord. And we are somewhere in that part. We may be very tiny, but we are the part of that sacrifice. And especially if you are a chanter, if you are performing devotional service, especially hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, then consider yourself to be very fortunate, because not everyone has been given this good advice. It's only by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we have learned this, and we should follow and practice. Thus doing, we'll be happy for the whole of our life. So besides that, the verse also says that as the culture goes on, as the way of life goes on, everything should be used in the service of Krishna. Now this point is explained very nicely by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami, the Nectar of Ritual Devotion, says that whatever we have, we should use it in the service of Krishna. I'm forgetting the Sanskrit. Real renunciation means to use everything. Are you going, Prabhu? Do you remember that verse? The Sanskrit. Whatever we have should be used in the service of Krishna. Yeah. Anybody remembers? Yatharam upayunjita nirbande Krishna sambande yukta vairagya uchite. I forget the beginning. How does it begin? I forget. It begins by anasaktasya vishayan yatharam upayunjita nirbande Krishna sambande yukta vairagya uchite. Very powerful verse. Rupa Goswami says, do not reject anything. Don't say this can't be used in service of that can't be used. Everything can be used in service of Krishna. And that is called real renunciation. For example, one gets married. Wife is not very favorable, but the husband is very favorable. Or it can be the other way around. So either other way around, either the husband can help the wife or the wife can help the husband by engaging in devotional service. It's not that you break up and reject, no. It may take time to adjust, adapt, and respect each other, and tolerance is required. So everything can be used in the service. Krishna Prabhupada in his lecture says, many people think that we should not use technology, but we are using technology, but in the service of Krishna. We have microphones, we have mobile phones, we have iPads, we have internet. Everything is working in the service of Krishna, including these things like Facebook or WhatsApp, whatever it is. It can be used. Others may use it for sense enjoyment, but devotees should use it in the service of Krishna. So we are not rejecting technology. We are not rejecting the advancement of the modern culture, but the culture should be centered around Krishna. So automatically it becomes one national system. If everything is rotating around Krishna, you are safe. And provided everyone clings to the feet of Krishna, then one is completely safe. In this way, everyone can be happy. And in other words, which also Rupa Goswami says, that those who reject by saying, neti, neti, this can't be used, this can, it means their renunciation is not proper. So, prapanchikata buddhiya, hari sambandha vastuna.
Mumukshubhi parityaga phalgu vairagyam.
Katha kathite. That vairagya has no value because everything can be used in the service of Krishna. For example, if someone is an artist, a painter, we can't say, oh, you're a sutra, you're useless. We can't say like that. Though most artists come from the sutra community, but he can use the art in the service of Krishna. Singing community, again in the service of Krishna. Tailors, carpenters, artisans, Vaishyas. Vaishyas can give money to further Krishna consciousness. The Kshatriyas can do a splendid job by all, and they can also propagate Krishna consciousness. And the Brahmins naturally are gifted with Krishna consciousness if they are genuine Brahmins. So we can use our talents, our way of life, our mind's activities can be used. Because without sacrifice, one can never be happy. Now, what is the advantage of sacrifice? Many people don't know. If you go on performing a sacrifice, for example, in ISKCON, we perform a common sacrifice. It's the chanting of the holy names, the Mahamantra. Now, anyone who has been chanting for at least a reasonable number of years, I would say, you'll find that he gets a taste for it. And once he gets a taste, it will become his habit. And that habit is so good that you'll never find him miserable. He's always happy. Anyone who chants becomes a happy person. And slowly, without his knowledge, or even without his knowledge, even without his own realization, he's already come to the Brahma Bhuta platform. Brahma Bhuta platform means a very high level, not on a material platform anymore. He hovers on a spiritual platform. And when you hover on a spiritual platform, there's no sochati, no kakshati, no desiring and no lamentation. And anyone who is free from these two things becomes a happy person. Otherwise, one can't become a happy person. In order to become happy, this is a must. No desire. That doesn't mean artificially. Our desires will come. Even when you're chanting, I'm sure none of you can say that no desires are coming even when you're chanting. They will come. Even while chanting, desires will come. Even while chanting, some lamentation will also come. Some things which went away from you, you miss them, or you are actually crying for them that you lost it. But then chanting will actually overtake all these things and is able to tell the chanter, what is gone, forget it. And what you're desiring, go on chanting, your desire will be fulfilled. Because in this verse 10 of Bhagavad Gita, of the 3rd chapter, Krishna does say that by sacrifice, one's desire will be fulfilled and one will go back home Bhakti-Bharat. Imagine two great results you are getting simply by chanting Hare Krishna. So, we should understand this purport in a way that wherever you are situated, some of us may be very Brahminical, someone may be like a Kshatriya, someone may be like a Vaishya, someone like a Sudra, it doesn't matter. And important thing is that once you have a human life, it is meant for tapa and then sacrifice. Tapa means sense control, literally means sense control. And sacrifice means to remain connected by Krishna by offering your sacrifice. Now, if you recall in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 10 different sacrifices were taught to Arjuna, including worship of demigods, offering of your possessions, following your brahmachari life, following your grahastha life, what do you call, breath control, yogic postures, studying Vedas, performing yoga, performing yajna, all these 10 sacrifices. But in the end, Krishna says, all those sacrifices are meant to bring you to a standard of knowledge. What is the knowledge? Knowledge is your constitutional position with Krishna, your relationship with Krishna. Otherwise, all that yajna remains on a material platform. But when the yajna is done with understanding of your constitutional belief, it becomes spiritualized. And you get the gain, you feel the profit. Yes, I'm doing the right thing. And you feel pleasure in your heart that I have done something to please Krishna. The Pandavas are the very good example. When Krishna was summoned by Yudhishthira what to do, when they built Indraprastha, they said, you must perform a Rajasuya yajna. And that was done, which is not easy. And later on, after Mahabharata, he is told to perform Ashwamedha yajna. All these yajnas are mentioned in the Vedas. So those who follow the Vedas, that's why they say, follow the chakra. The chakra means what you call a wheel. In the wheel, Krishna is on the top, or Vishnu is on the top. From him comes the Vedas. From the Vedas come prescribed duties. From the Vedas, Vedic, what you call, prescribed duties comes yajna. Yajna is performed by offering, sacrifice. For sacrifice, you need grains and many things, and milk and milk products. They come from cows and from the earth. And to bring these things, you need rain. Rain comes again from yajna. And the yajna is born from Krishna's mouth. So it's a chakra. So if you follow the chakra, it's connected. Everything is connected to each other. Your life will become happier and you'll become successful. Hare Krishna. The time is up. If anybody likes to add something, or if you have any questions, you may ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, is the process of sacrifice in this Kali Yuga is the Sankirtana, and it is very simple. Sankirtana Yajna, and it is very, very simple to be performed by all. Even the children can perform. Everyone can perform. But the problem is, not everyone are ready to accept this, and yes, that is unfortunate thing.
It's unfortunate because they do not know the value. So it becomes our duty to teach them that why you should chant, why you should engage in Sankirtan. For example, myself, when I joined in the very beginning, I used to think knowledge is very important. Knowledge is let's say like Bhagavad Gita is very important. And chanting is not very important. But as I read, I realized no, chanting is important. Rather more important than knowledge. It goes side by side, supplement. So then we realize no, chanting is important. Or sometimes some devotees think, no, deity worship is important, chanting is not important. Some people think like that. And some people think that only we'll do Sankirtan, everything will be okay. That's good, but you have to follow rules and regulations. That doesn't mean you don't hear Bhagavatam, you don't read Bhagavad Gita. There's a new trend in ISKCON. Many devotees think like that. That I learn some Kirtan, I learn some instruments, I'll do only Kirtan, and I'll enjoy my life. No. Life of devotee is a life of sacrifice. Like waking up early, chanting your rounds, and then you do your Sankirtan, hear Bhagavatam, eat only prasad. These basic rules should be followed. Thank you. Are you going to?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you for
Krishna.
this nice class. Thank you very much. You give clear information about the Varnashrama, how people should be, and what we should be doing in this Kali Yuga. It's very, very difficult to do any kind of yajna except for the Sankirtan yajna, because brahmanas are not pure. Any paraphernalia, any like samagri that we get for the homam, that also is not pure. There is no pure ghee or pure milk, or everything is like polluted. So yes, as we showed also, Srila Prabhupada, he took a word that he used in Malaysia from beginning of his movement. He made them, they were drug addicts, they were sex addicts, they were in prison, they were old. He made them brahmanas. He made them Vaishyas, Vaishnavas, more than Brahmana, higher than Brahmana. So if anybody wants, they can. As Prabhuji is saying, not everybody wants to take this process of chanting. So there are devotees, I'm telling you, in some of my other classes, devotees. One Mataji, she said, I do Hanuman Chalisa 118 times every day for 1 hour. But I do only one round. So I say, it should be the other way around. She said, no, I am used to it. I will keep it that way. I will do only one round. I say, okay, I hope Krishna helps you. So it's difficult, not only young people, adults also, older people also. I think they have got this habit. Another one was saying, I am so used to so many deities, I cannot put Krishna on top because Krishna is on the same level with all them. And she cannot accept that we called Lord Shiva or some other demigod. No, they're all gods. So we have to constantly teaching, teaching not aggressively. Like try to reach them slowly and slowly. It's a work that I've been doing. Leave them, let them do whatever, but add Krishna to it. And then slowly put Krishna on top. This should be our approach. Even while chanting, even we cannot chant properly, right? As master, new beginners. And also service should go hand in hand. Like you do your chanting, you do your service as well. You follow Guru principles. All should be together. We cannot say, no, I'm just chanting, I will just stay with chanting itself. But no, we have to do more than that, right? Balance everything. Then our life may come to kind of a little bit perfect. Otherwise, nobody is perfect. Yes, Prabhuji, very nice class. Thank you. Thank you again.
Yes, I agree with you. 100% what you are saying is true. So, especially in the Indian community, to bring them to chanting is very difficult. In other communities, they will accept. I mean, with little preaching, they all accept. But in the Indian community, it becomes very difficult. Like, even when we go for house programs there, when the program gets over, they'll tell us, okay, can you sing one Hanuman Chalisa? No, we don't know Hanuman Chalisa. If we are not authorized to sing Hanuman Chalisa, how can we sing? So we generally say, you sing, we'll play the instruments. We don't know the Hanuman Chalisa. And then they are okay. So you're right that even when you are preaching, preaching literally means compassion. We have to have compassion for everyone because they don't know what they are doing. So the real compassion means to preach them and tell them what are they supposed to do. Because without chanting Hare Krishna, how will you become pure? And nowhere is written that any other thing is allowed. For example, like if you study even the Hanuman Chalisa, nowhere is written that it is for Kali Yuga. Nor does it say that you'll go back home, back to God. Rather, it says dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It means you can gain your purusharthas. Yes, some lines are good, glorifying Lord Ramachandra and Hanuman. But otherwise, there is nothing so simple and sublime like chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's why in all our programs,
you know that Mataji, she argued with me that without Hanuman, there is no Ram. That's why we have to chant Hanuman Chalisa. Without Hanuman, there is no Ram.
No. Ram is there in the Mahamantra.
Yeah.
How can you say there is no
Ram? There will be no Hanuman. That I can accept. But without Hanuman, there is no Ram. That I cannot accept. But then the arguments, they are like so strong in their belief. So I say, okay, but you have chanting one round. Slowly increase.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to let go. If they have the strong faith like that, we leave them. Tell them, okay, if you think it that way. But if you are doing Hanuman Chalisa, doesn't mean you don't worship Ram. Many people think this, we will worship only Hanuman. But what about worship? Hanuman is pleased when you worship Lord Ramachandra.
That's what I keep telling her.
We worship both.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you for the good point. Yeah. Okay, anyone else has a question or any comment or addition? If
I think
we can end up the session, yeah?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this wonderful session on simple things, but yet powerful in Krishna consciousness that we need to follow. And then these are wonderful things for us to understand. I request all the devotees to unmute and then chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once in glorification of His Grace Rukma Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki
Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna. His Grace Rukma Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.